Today's guest has overcome adversities and become a shining star in his community. Tory continually jumps at the opportunity to help those in need and can be found mentoring young men and women or teaching young men how to tie a tie, like at one of our tie events. Always the reasonable voice in the room and a quiet strength that is palpable in his presence. Tory's wisdom came hard-earned, and he is doing his best to lead others from his own experience. Please welcome Q Psi Phi fraternity brother, Tory Thrash.
How y'all doing?
Welcome, Tory. Welcome. So you spend a lot of time in the community just giving back. Can you tell us a little bit about your community work?
Yeah, so not only am I a member of Omega Psi Phi, but I'm also a Prince Hall Mason as well. We spend a lot of time. We do a lot giving to the needy. We go to schools, read to the kids. We give away book bags. We have an Easter egg hunt every year. We do a lot of fundraisers. So throughout the year, we do several fundraisers to give away scholarships to seniors that are going to school. And the only qualification is that you have an acceptance letter to a college, whatnot, and then we pick 3 to 4 seniors. It's not much, but it's, it'll help out with books, some supplies or whatever may be needed.
That's dope. And 3 or 4, you may say not much, but those are 3 or 4 kids that didn't have beforehand. So that's really dope. Why is giving back in that way important to you? Did you have that growing up, or is this just something that you saw a need for and decided that you needed to help fill it?
Well, there definitely was a need. I didn't necessarily have to have that. My family was, my grandmother grew up in right after the Great Depression. So I get a lot of what I have from her. So she's a type, if she doesn't have it, she don't, if she doesn't have it, she will, she won't get it. And then if she got it, she's the type of person that she has everything. She's got it. And so I don't know. I did, when I went to college, there were some kids that, needed our attention. I think at that time there was the No Kid Left Behind initiative being pushed. And we were tutoring the kids, and we were giving them incentives or whatever to go on trips, do this, that, and the third. And what happened was we noticed that when we were going over the homework with the kids, they really weren't grasping the information. So we noticed that those kids were being put, just being pushed ahead, and they didn't actually know the material,
right,
and whatnot. So that's when I realized that a lot of, education isn't what it used to be. Education now is what I would say, the teachers are prepping them for the standardized tests, and students aren't really learning a true education these days.
Right. So you were tutoring from college when you were in college?
Yeah, we were tutoring elementary and middle school age kids. Yeah.
In your younger years, so it's just kind of mimicking what you're doing now. You just continued helping throughout the years.
Yeah, and then from there, got out, and I had kids that I coached, Little League, and then now have a plethora of nephews, nieces, or whatnot that everybody needs guidance. So yeah. I think more than anything with me, the discipline that I received helped mold me, helped shape me into who I am today. Mm-hmm. So I noticed that a lot of kids that I encounter, all they want is a little direction, a little discipline, whatnot. And if you can get them to focus, they can go very, very far.
Absolutely. Did you have a mentor or somebody you looked up to in your family or community when you were growing up?
Yeah, I did. I'll say, there were not many male role models in my life growing up. My grandfather died when I was 6 or 7, and so from there, I had my uncles, which they were teenagers at the time, and they did their best. They made me tough. They roughed me up a little bit, and gave me direction. And when I got out of line, they would tune me up a little bit. But I didn't really get true male role models until after my probably late 20s. I kind of picked up role models after college. I ended up befriending pastors, like he's from Macon, Elder Lamar Bell, him and his wife, but he kind of stuck with me and kind of guided me. He was kind of like a father figure to me, because that was at that time it was critical for me, because at that time I kind of leaned off. I started to want to lean off of the rambunctious side, and wanted to calm down, wanted to get serious about life, and he did that for me. He was one that got critical to doing that for me.
Right. Did you ever have a moment, maybe with Elder Bell or any other male role model or female model, that was just life-changing, just a certain moment that you can remember that was just like a light coming on?
Yeah. So there was he was a frat brother of mine. He was a pastor, and he is a pastor, and I think that was right at the time I think I had gave my life to Christ, and he just taught me that everything wasn't so serious. That that people just needed love and guidance, or whatnot. And I'll give you this instance. We were at I think at a food establishment or whatever, and it was next to a convenience store. And guy, he asked for some money, and we knew that he was going to take that money and go buy some alcohol probably. Whatnot. And, we gave him the money. He went and bought alcohol. I got so hot with him, man, I'll go take my money back. He was like, no, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? The Lord led you to give it to him. It's up to him to do what he was supposed to do with it. If he didn't do what he was supposed to do with it, then, you can't take it so seriously. It was just things like that. Like I said, Elder Bell, he instilled in me, about being a family man. He's big on family. I think he grew up, in need. He had a lot of ups and downs in life. And then, he met I think he's been married before, but then when he met his current wife, this family is everything. And I sat down and watched him, maneuver and deal with his family. And it was just amazing to me. And so I think I get a lot of my, family, well, I ain't gonna say family, but my fatherly wisdom from him. But I grew up in a big family. My family is everything to me.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I've known you for a few years now. I know your family is everything to you. And you seem to bring in kids that are not necessarily your kids. You pick up kids along the way. Even at work, the younger guys and younger girls, everybody's always in your office talking to you. So that seems to be something that is just deep within you.
Yeah, I think that's probably been, 11 years I've been in the car business. That was a recurring thing. Everybody come in, sit down with me, talk to me, just give them a little guidance or whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that people seem to gravitate to you for that shoulder to lean on, for advice, or just to share their life stories?
I really couldn't tell you. I think it's just being genuine with people. I don't cut any corners. I really try to tell you how it is, like it is. And when you be genuine with people, it kind of draws them. And just show them a little attention. And just listen to them sometimes. That's all it really takes with a lot of people. Just they want somebody to listen to what they have to say, because they may not feel that what they have to say is important. So if you just listen to some people, sometimes, that takes you a long way.
Right. Did you have that experience in your lifetime where people would give you their shoulder to lean on? And is that how you drew that strength, or is it just something that's just natural in you?
No, I think that people just listen to me. Got older guys, uncles, guys that I reached out to. They listened to what I had to say, and it made a big difference in my life. And then as I started reading the Word of God, if you look at the life of Christ, he hung out with a lot of undesirables, but more than anything, he was just a person that was reachable, that was approachable, or whatnot. So I just try to be an approachable type of person.
Absolutely. I've had a lot of experiences in my life where I was the shoulder, where people would come to me and they'd tell me their things. And it's not always easy for me because, and I'm just speaking about my experience. I don't know if you feel the same, but it's not always easy because I take that stuff home with me. When people tell me certain things that are heavy on them, it's not as if when the conversation is over that I forget. When I go home, I'm thinking about it. It's weighing on me. I'm trying to figure out how can I help them fix it. And it can become very heavy for the empath, the one that is the shoulder. Do you have a shoulder to lean on? Where does the strong turn to when they need some strength?
I had this conversation with my dad probably about 2 years ago, and I think this is right when I was about to get married. So me and my dad have had nothing to do with each other. I mean, I know who he was. The only memory I have of my dad is when I was a little kid. He would pick me up. He would take me. He would go around. He would flaunt me around to his little girlfriends.
Plural.
And then he would take me over to his mother's house, and I would stay with my grandmother, my aunt, for the rest of the weekend until it was time for me to go home. All right. So, long story short, my dad got married about 5 years ago, and he asked me to be his best man. That was the first thing me and my dad ever did together. Right. So, getting to that, when I got married, he felt like he should have been my best man. And I was like, you don't deserve that. Mm-hmm. I said, the guys that are in my wedding, I think it was like, 5, 6 guys that were in my wedding. I said, those guys I can turn to and depend on them. If at the drop of a dime, they'd be there. And, I said, either one of those guys would be my best man. So you have no right to be my best man. Right. So yeah, I have a cast of friends. I mean, true friends, and that I take that word very seriously. I don't have many friends. I have a lot of associates, but I do have some true friends that no matter what, I can call in the middle of the night with a joke. I can call, in the middle of the night and get some clarity on a problem I may be having, and they can do the same with me. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I got some heavy hitters out there, right, that they're grounded. They're from all walks of life. They came from nowhere, and now they're successful businessmen, executives, that type of thing. So. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. There are a lot of boys and girls that grew up without the father in the household. My father, for example, lived in another state, so I didn't get that everyday access with him. Um, I guess ideally, uh, of course, ideally you want both of the parents in the household. My father was more so summertime and holidays, whenever he got the chance, he did come and get me, but I didn't have the everyday daddy that, a lot of people had. Some of my peers had. Um, and then you, for instance, you didn't have your father around for a very long time. You were a little kid and then you didn't see him again for quite some time. And then he came in back in the picture around when he was getting married, if that's correct. What do you say to, let's just talk about young men because you're a man. What do you say to young men who don't have that father in the household that may be about to have kids or have kids already and feel like they have no idea what to do? They don't know how to be a daddy because they didn't see it. You're obviously doing a great job. So what advice could you give to them?
I think with me, my thing was I did not want my child to grow up like that. And so what I try to do is be there and be the dad that I wanted for myself. Mm-hmm. And what I tell my appeal is to single mothers out there. There are things, and I applaud you because there's a lot that y'all go through to be a single parent. And I grew up in I had stepdads, but they weren't there for me. But I applaud y'all for being the strength, the support of your families, and trying to play both roles. But there are certain things that young men need to experience from men. Yes. So my appeal to you is, you need to, if he has an uncle, mm-hmm. if you have a friend, a male friend, that is a positive influence, link your boy up with him. Let him play sports. That coach, let him lead him. Don't cuddle him so much. Let the guy talk to him. He needs to be yelled at a little bit. To let him know. Let him know that this is the real world. Let him experience some things. Expose them to different events. And I know you may not be into sports or that type of thing, but it's important to let those boys be boys.
Oh yeah.
And if there are any men out there that you can link them up with just to be around, that are positive role models now, then let them be around. And if their dad is anywhere nearby and they're willing to let them, to be in their life, let them be. Even if he's not the greatest, just let him be in his life because it means the world to him. Mm-hmm. You're actually hurting the kid, and not you're hurting yourself, and it's not hurting the kid because eventually, whether you're lying or he's lying, the kid will know the truth in the long run.
And sometimes they just become resentful, period, regardless of the truth. They just become resentful, and it takes them a while to get out of that resentment and then really latch on to the truth. So mm-hmm. Yeah, it could wind up hurting the parents either way, whether they know the truth or not. That I'm a single mother, and I agree with you 100%. My son's father is not here anymore and hasn't been since he was 5. So I don't have the option of having a conversation with him and ironing things out and, hey, why don't you come take our son to go play basketball? That option is not on the table. So I would also just press on single mothers to do the best you can to have the father present. If they are halfway decent, if they're not going to put your child in harm's way and your child is safe, please let that child have a relationship with their father, because if there were ever a time that father were not here, you don't have that option anymore. And that child is missing out on graduations and birthdays and things like that when it's unnecessary. Now, if it's on the father, we can't say anything about that,
Right.
But so as you said, I do reach out to men to assist me in different ways with my son, but I am very protective over my kid, and I know you know that. I am very protective and very selective on who he's around. And I'll bring up this story, and you know it. So every year, or it feels like every stage of his life, I come up on something that I can't teach him because I'm not a man. And I can't think of these things in hindsight. I can't just say, oh, well, in 5 years, he needs to learn this. I don't know. These are not things that I do on a regular basis. So there was he had a basketball coach that insisted every Saturday when they play their game, they wear a button down and a tie. And I love that. They used to come out looking sharp, hard bottom shoes, looking good. But my son didn't know how to tie a tie. And neither did I. So I asked you, I said, hey, Tory, can you show my son, I'm going to FaceTime my son. Can you show him how to tie a tie? And we're at work on a Saturday. And if anybody knows about the car business, you should not be on FaceTime with anybody on a Saturday. You should be working. But we're at work and you took the time and you're going through it. And Makai is, to me, looking hopeless. I'm like, it is not going to work at all. And what's funny is that whole experience from him learning how to tie a tie from you and me realizing that I could not be the only mother that had a child that didn't know how to tie a tie, that needed to know how to tie a tie. It birthed the first tie event, which in turn birthed Tied Together. You know, so you never know what good thing you do for somebody for 20, 30 minutes that could just change into something completely different. So I'm very grateful to you. And you just never know. You never know what those kind acts could turn into.
You're very welcome.
Yes, yes. So now that you're mentoring, you're doing the tying and things like that, what kind of impact would you hope to make on the youth that you're around?
I feel that if you look good, you'll perform better. So me personally, I hardly ever wear a regular tie. I love bow ties. So if you ever want to give me anything, it's a bow tie. I love it. And then also for our youth, as a young Black man, I'm also a licensed insurance agent, and my big thing is financial education for our community. As young men, we are not taught basic things about finances. We're not taught how to save. We don't know how to write checks, balance a checkbook. We don't know anything about compound interest and the rule of 72. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm saying all this to say this. You need to get financially educated. I have a book I'll give to you free if you just reach out to me. My number is 478-485-6443. That is my business line. And you send me, text me or call me and give me your address and your information, and I'll be glad to send you out a book. It's called How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker. And it's a book that a 14-year-old can read.
Good.
It teaches you the 8 principles that everyone should know about money. It's written by millionaires, and they just figured out a simple way to teach people about money. And I'm actually trying to get that book also into my local high school because they're starting a financial literacy program in school, in their curriculum. So I'm trying to get that book into the school system to be a part of that program as well.
Awesome. That's awesome. I was speaking to a previous guest about the lack of financial literacy, especially in our communities. I grew up in a Black community. I cannot speak to white communities, so I'm not leaving them out. It's just that I know from growing up in a Black community, we just did not have a lot of financial literacy. I didn't know anything about it. And you are a licensed insurance agent, and you and I talked about life insurance a bunch of times. You know, life insurance is important. I'm glad that you are educating the community and teaching them why they should have life insurance. You know, there are a lot of GoFundMes when people pass away, and you get $5 here, $100 there. I'll tell my side is that I pay $4.16 a week for a $250,000 policy. Now, some people may be scared to say things like that. Well, you better be careful. Somebody might, well, you can't get nothing because there's nothing coming to you. I didn't sign your name on the paper, but it's only $4.16 a week. And not only do my family not have to worry about burial expenses, but there's something left for my son, rather than GoFundMes and hopefully you have enough for the casket, for the service and things like that. And I've heard you speak about it and get these insurances for people, and it's just very important in our community.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, GoFundMe is what it is, but it's not what God intended. Is and it's truthfully it's embarrassing at the end of the day to ask someone to help bury your loved ones. To me, the ultimate men, I'm talking to you, men, the ultimate gift of love to your family is an insurance policy. Because you may not have a whole bunch of money saved up, but the policy actually pays out. It helps. This is what insurance is for. It helps cover the financial issues that may arise upon your death. It's expensive to put you in the ground. It's expensive to pay off your debt. It's expensive to keep the house that they are in and not have to worry about moving, getting rid of it and downsizing because they can't afford it anymore. So if you say you love your family and don't have an insurance policy, you're lying to yourself. Okay? Like I said, GoFundMe is what it is, but it is embarrassing. A lot of people ask their churches to bury them because they put their tithe and offering into the basket. That's not right. The tithe and offering to take care of the church, and that's it. So get your stuff in order. Get a policy. Now, the older you get, the more expensive it becomes. If you start when you're young, it's inexpensive. I also do seminars. So remember that number. I will come out and do a seminar. I'll come to your business. I'll come to your church. I'll come to your home. I'll come to your family reunion. I've done that. And just educate you about insurance, the different type of policies. One other thing I'll do is I'll do a policy evaluation for you. If you invite me into your home, have your policy ready, we'll just go over your illustration page to make sure you know what you have. If you have adequate coverage, by all means, I advise you to keep it. I don't have to make a sale. I just want to know that you're covered, that your family is covered. And then if not, I can show you a better way. I mean, like I said, I love to come out and talk to you and your family about life insurance. So.
And I want people to understand this is not a promotional, I'm not getting paid $1. I don't need to get paid $1. It's important to me. It's important to Tory. And just think about it. I think about my son and, God forbid I go while he's a young man and nobody wants to leave their kids at any point. He could be 90 and I don't want to leave him, but I would rather leave him with more financial stability than to put him in a hole or to put my mom in the hole or my sister in the hole. Just imagine, if I up my policy, I could pay off their houses. I could buy my son a house cash, something that I'm not currently doing in my lifetime right now, but it's something that I could do, once I'm gone. So I do think that's very important. To switch gears a little bit. So you and I worked at a BMW dealership for a number of years, and you just have this quiet strength about you. You're not loud. You're not rowdy. We cannot say the same for me, but you just are very peaceful, but you do still have this aura about you. Don't try it. Please don't. But how do you keep that peace about you? It seems like your peace is important to you. How do you maintain that?
So the maintenance of it is a lot of prayer, a lot of self-awareness, because I mean, ironically, my fraternity name is Little Rowdy, and so that's all people know me as. They know I was the guy to get it started always,
Okay.
and through the years, life happens to everyone, and like I said, everything ain't about being rah rah, this, that, and the third. The person that's the loudest is a lot of times the first one to get taken out. So just that quiet strength, reading my Bible, just learning the nature of Christ, and just learning to be humble. That's the main thing. Learn to be humble. Once you learn how to be humble, you know who you are. You don't have to be out in the forefront for everybody to know who you are. And like I said, I have a lot of associates, very few friends, but when we go places, my wife be like, can we not go somewhere and you have a 15, 20-minute conversation with everybody?
Nope.
Nah, I'm sorry. I'm in the car business. I'm an insurance agent, fraternity, I'm a basic. I know everybody. So, it is, but I, like I said, it's just come down to being humble, knowing who I am. But like I said, don't cross me. And don't mess with my family.
Right.
We can get along.
Right. I've seen you in situations at work that I personally would flip. And you've witnessed. I used to go by my middle name at work, Vanessa. You witnessed Vanessa getting loud and being boisterous, but you were just way more peaceful than that. Have you always been that slow to anger?
No, definitely.
Okay.
I was a light switch. And this is the thing. And this goes along with what's going on now in the streets out there. The police are looking for any reason to react. And I have nothing against the police. I think the police have their purpose. And I have plenty of friends who are police. But you have a lot of white cops out there that they just looking for a reason to lock you up. They're looking for a reason to gun you down. And I had to learn, don't give them a reason. So when we were at the dealership, there were plenty of times I wanted to flip tables. I wanted to just take off and just drop kick somebody. But I knew the consequences that would come along with that.
Right.
And that's the thing. You have to. I learned. I picked up the game of chess when I was a teenager. And one of the things about chess is you have to be calculated. You have to learn several moves ahead. And if you don't have that, you're way behind. You're gonna lose the game. And so having a knowledge of chess, learning to be humble, learning patience has made me into who I am today. Like I said, I'm not trying to give a reason. I love my freedom. And I'm not trying to give anybody a reason to take away that freedom. Right.
For me, when I was very young, when I was a child, I was very quiet, very shy, and would never speak up for myself. Over the years after that, it became like a burden because I would go home and think of the ways that I was wronged and that I didn't speak up for myself, and I would feel very poorly about not speaking up for myself. So rather than finding a healthy medium, I went from not saying anything at all to just just blowing up. But it took some time for me to get a hold on that. I would say for me, one of the turning points was I wound up yelling at somebody that I really cared about. And I was passionate about what I was talking about, but I did not have to relay the information in that way. And I also realized that while I was busy yelling, I was getting the explanation I needed to not be yelling, but I didn't hear it because I was too busy making noise.
That's right.
Right. Was there a particular turning point for you that took you from snapping to just more, well, attempting to be more calm? Because at first you can't just turn it off. You have to try. But was there a certain turning point for you in your life?
Nah, I can't say so because, well, I'll take that back. It was. So right before I graduated college, I got into some trouble that I got in some trouble. I was not able to use my degree, and I used that as a crutch for a long time. To not, not try to be a banker or whatever, because I have a degree in banking and finance. And I use that as a crutch, not to pursue a degree, a career in that, in banking and finance. And I got into some trouble, and it was just a series. I think I kind of spiraled down. I was able to graduate, but I started getting into a whole bunch of trouble. Got into some fights. I got banned from Bullock County, which I went to school at Georgia Southern University in Statesboro, Georgia. I got banned from the county for a year.
Wow.
And, when I got into that trouble, it got me to where they were finna get ready to arrest me. They were finna get ready to kick me out of school. I'm banned from the county. And after that, I was just like, man, you gotta chill, buddy. You gotta calm down. It's time to grow up. I mean, college is over with, so it's time to grow up. It's time to to be a man. It's time to be serious about life, and that kind of did it.
Right.
A couple of things. Maybe like a couple years later, I gave my life to Christ, like I said, and the rest is history. I am who I am today. An evolution of Tory.
Amen. So I think we all have, and if you haven't had it yet, it's coming, but we all have those moments where we feel like we have lost control of our lives. We may feel like we have ruined our lives. It's not going to get any better from here. Everything I was striving for, I have absolutely just torn it to pieces. I could imagine that when you went through all of those things with your school and being banned and things like that, you felt like you threw a lot away. But you didn't, because obviously you're here, you're still living, you're still doing well in the community. But somebody who is at that space right now, they have just been told that they're banned from the college, they're banned from the county, they're at that space. What is step one to come out of that? What do they do next?
Just know that, and I'm quoting, I think, I'm not sure who the quote is, but it may be Dr. Martin Luther King, but the measure of a man is not, and I'm barely quoting this, but the measure of that man is not how many times he gets knocked down, but when he gets up, you know what I'm saying? And the Bible tells you that, just stand. Just get back up. A righteous man falls 7 times, but just get back up. Mm-hmm. And also belief in yourself, because whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right.
I say that all the time.
You're right. Yep. So, it's about belief in yourself. You got to get up, knock the dust off, keep moving. And once you realize who's in control, everything else falls in place.
Right. I say that, saying to my son all the time. I can't stand when he says can't. He says, "Oh, I can't do it, and I can't do this." He's doing digital rendering right now, and so he's having some opportunities to do things that are not necessarily in his comfort zone. He's good at a certain piece of it, and he's trying out other things. But he's been getting offers to do other things that just don't fall within the realm of what he's doing. He's like, oh, well, I can't do that. I said, you're right. You can't. You didn't even try, but you said to yourself that you can't. So your brain has checked out.
Yeah, he's bringing the feet in from the rip.
That's it.
Yeah. But one thing Makai needs to understand is your outside of your comfort zone is where you will excel. And there's examples everywhere. And you know, when God talked to Abram, he told him to, you know, leave the land that you're comfortable with. So he was telling him then to step out of your comfort zone and go away from your family, and I'm going to bless you. And so that's going to be my wisdom to Makai. You know, embrace your uncomfort.
That's it. To Makai and all young men watching,
and
young women, embrace it. Embrace it. I've been in so many uncomfortable positions in my life. It's bananas. But I will tell you this, out of all those situations, I have grown exponentially. It's always terrifying to step into the unknown. But, you know, for me, because I'm a faith-filled person, I believe in Christ, and that's who I direct everything towards. So because of my faith, I'm like, you know, this looks strange, but I'm going to go for it. Now, that's not to say that you can just do whatever you want. Okay? You need to check in first. Yeah. Don't just say, you know what? I think I'm just going to quit my job and go do hair. Well, if that's your calling, go do hair. But if that's, girl, I know I can't cornrow to save my life. I ain't quit no jobs to braid no hair. Okay? Just make sure you're in line is basically what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So what do you have next on your to-do list for Tory? What's coming up that you're excited about?
You know, just like I said, I got a couple things going. Like I said, I'm a licensed agent. I got a little part-time job. Right now, while I'm physically able, I'm just trying to make a little money, make extra money. I'm trying to build back up from this wedding I just had a couple years ago, put that back in place. But I do sell identity protection. Just basically I have multiple sources of income coming in, and also possibly looking at getting into the foster care system, working with the foster care system or whatnot. So just a couple different things going on right now, just keeping it steadily going while I'm able to. That's it.
When you told me about the position at the potential position at the foster care system, it just made sense. That makes so much sense for who you are as a person. Have you ever dealt with foster care children? No, never? Wow.
Never. And I'm gonna tell you, this is probably like the second time something happened like that. God just threw something at me because I never thought about it. It just landed in my lap. So that's how I know it's God. It just landed in my lap. Lady said, "Hey, you got some time?" And I'm like, She like, apply for this position and whatever. And then like I applied for it, and like the next day I had an interview.
Wow.
You know, it was just that. I mean, within 3 days I had an interview. So, you know, it's just God. And I looked at it as that. You know, like I said, it's a lot of kids out there that, you know, need somebody. They can't control who their parents are. They can't control why they're in, you know, the care of the state right now. But I do know that there are people out there that would love, you know, that have a space that would love to take a child in and love on that child until they're able to find that forever home, that forever family, or whatnot. So, you know, there are a lot of people out there, you know, without parents. But if you know your word of God, the true religion, it says take care of widows and orphans. If you can do that, God will take care of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's dope that you're getting into the foster care system because you never know, and we just talked about it, but you never know what that one small thing is that will change the trajectory of somebody's life. Just a hey in the hallway. You consistently always saying hey, and you know them by name, and it's like, oh, I really like that blue shirt, and they might wear that blue shirt for 2 weeks. They feel good about themselves now, you know? I had a weird moment, and I would never forget this moment as long as I live. I did not experience being in the foster system, so I just want to leave it that. It doesn't have to do with being in that situation. But I was 11 years old, and I was painfully shy. Like, it made no sense to be that shy. My heart would start racing when I got near people. I looked at the floor. I did not make eye contact, just ridiculously shy. And I was walking down the street. It's 5 blocks from my house to the main road. So I'm walking toward the main road, and I see somebody coming in my direction, and my heart immediately just starts racing. I want to get past this person as quickly as possible. So I shrink, I put my head down, and I'm just walking real fast. I'm probably not even breathing at this point. And I would always do that and just hoping they didn't see me. So as this man gets about right here to me, he waves in front of my face like this and goes, "Hold your head up." And I took like the deepest breath because now I'm terrified. I was already scared. But now not only did you see me, because I'm trying to shrink so you don't see me, not only did you see me, you invaded my space. So he does this, and I held my breath, and I'm looking straight ahead, and I'm speeding past this man. And after that moment, I realized, like, wait, people can see me. I'm not shrinking. I'm not like being incognito. They see me with my head down. So it took a long time for me not to be shy anymore, but I had to start practicing holding my head up and just looking somebody in their eye when I spoke to them. And I couldn't point that man out in the lineup right now, but what he did that day, maybe he wasn't doing it to be kind. Who knows? But what he did that day did change the trajectory of my life. You know, I started holding my head up, even though I was terrified. I was still scared. I did not want to look people in the eye. I was scared, but it changed. It changed so much. And I'm excited for you to get involved with more children and change their lives for the better. Because, I mean, you've already affected my son in a positive way and me as well. And I can't wait for you to do that exponentially. Tory, so you did give us a quote already. I always ask, is there a quote that you live by? But is there another one? Do you have another quote that you live by?
Nah, just like my, I think my handle on Instagram is lift as you climb.
Yeah.
So just reach one, teach one. Always be willing to reach back and grab somebody and hold on until they get to where they need to be.
Absolutely.
Lift as we climb.
And for any young men that grew up like you that did not have their father around, and they are looking for mentors, they don't have that mentor right now, where would you advise them to turn?
So there are several, always in your area, there should be a grad chapter of the Pan-Atlantic Council. So you have the Omegas, you have the Sigmas, the Alphas, and the Kappas. You can always find a local branch of a grad chapter in your area. That would be a good spot. The Boys and Girls Club, the YMCA in your area. If there is a Masonic Lodge in your area, reach out to them.
And all they simply have to do is just call up, email. What would they do?
If you just know anybody in those groups, just reach out to them, just say something to them, and then they'll be able to put you in contact with someone that will be. Everyone has an outreach program, so they'll be able to connect you with whoever their outreach coordinator is, and they'll be back in touch with you. I promise you, they won't leave you out if they have a lot going on. They won't.
That's awesome. That's a resource that even I didn't know was available. And, I think the saying is people will die for the lack of knowledge. If you don't know it, you have no idea how to pursue it. So that's awesome that that's readily available. And if they have more men like you in those groups, then I'm sure they'll be chomping at the bit to help these young men out.
More than willing.
Tory, I'm glad to know you. I call you my friend, and I am excited to just keep watching you grow and keep being awesome. I can't wait to see what you have next in store, and just keep helping these kids out, man.
I'll be glad to do that. I'm glad to do that. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Tory.
Appreciate every single step of the journey. A lot of times we're in it and we're looking for the next thing. So yes, we did this, boom, on to the next thing. I've learned to appreciate every contract, every business meeting. I've learned to appreciate every high, every low, because it happens so fast. I'm like appreciative and saying, all right, God, this is what you've given me. So what do I need to do? What am I bringing to you? What am I showing you that I've done with what you've given me? You know, so I think my faith also plays a major role into my why, because, you know, it's really just those gifts. You know, the Bible says our gifts make room for us.
And bring you amongst great men.
And bring you amongst great men. And I thought God is not ashamed to be called their God, because he had prepared for them a city. So
come on, Diana.
Listen, okay?
Come on, Diana.
Let's get it.